Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my first video ever, so please bear with me. I'm still learning. Everything is super minimalistic right now. I've been putting so much thought into this, like what should my first video be? What should I do? How do I act? Like I'm super weird in front of the camera, but I figured, you know, you just have to start in order to get better. So this is me just starting. I have all of my favorite products in front of me. I just figured for my first one, let me just use all my favorite makeup and just do a nice look on myself. Something that I would feel comfortable in, something that is a go-to look for me that I can wear for any occasion, whether it's a dinner, a party, anything where I just want to feel pretty and I don't want to have to worry about experimenting and it looking crazy. But yeah, I don't really want to talk your guys' heads off, but if you are interested in how I got this soft glam look, then please keep watching. Here we go. We need to get rid of this under eye darkness, and a little friend came to see me today. Ugh, perfect timing, right? So I'm going to start with my lips, and this is the Smith's Minted Rose Lip Balm. I'm going to apply that now, that way in the end when we do lips, my lips will be nice and moisturized. Going in with moisturizer, and this is to prep my skin. I'm using the Olay Complete Daily Moisturizer, and this has an SPF of 15. I usually just use it in the morning, every morning, just to moisturize my skin, prep under my makeup. My mom actually just always had this in the bathroom when I was growing up, and if something ain't broke, don't fix it. So this is just my go-to moisturizer, and I always am stocked up on it. Okay, next super important step for prepping our face is eye cream. So I'm going to take the Clinique Repair Wear Laser Focus Eye Cream, and I'm just going to go hammer bammer with that under my eyes, on the outsides, just everywhere. Taking my MAC strobe cream, and this is just the plain one. I use just a pea-sized amount, and I'm going to place this everywhere on my face where I want that glow. So tops of my cheekbones, down the bridge of my nose, and a little bit on my forehead. Last step of prepping the skin, I'm going to take my MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Primer, and I'm just going to place this everywhere that I have a little larger, more noticeable pores. Starting with my face makeup, I'm going to actually mix two different foundations today. I'm going to use the MAC Face and Body Foundation in the shade C3 and MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation in the shade NC30. And I'm just going to mix these together with my finger on my hand and dab it on my face first. All right, using a Real Techniques brush, this is just their buffing brush. I just kind of use this to spread the foundation out all over my face. Oh yeah, get that, girl. Then I take my wet beauty blender and I just finish off the foundation by patting all over the face. And this just gives it a really nice airbrush look and just blends it out even more. Now I felt like I needed a little more coverage in some areas, so I'm just going to take a little bit more of my MAC Face and Body Foundation. Using my beauty blender, I'm just going to pat that in everywhere that I just wanted a little bit more coverage. Moving on to concealer, I'm actually going to use two different products here as well. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade Sand, and I'm just going to go in with that first, placing it on my under eyes in a triangle shape, going down the bridge of my nose and also the center of my forehead and the mustache, you know. Going in with the second one, this is the e.l.f. HD Concealer in the shade Light, and I just pretty much use that under my eyes to cancel out the lightness of the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. And also I really like the finish of the e.l.f. one, but it's slightly dark, so mixing it with this concealer works out perfectly. When I'm blending, I like to really take it up to my hairline, and that is really just going to lift that eye. Our little friend needs some extra coverage, so I'm just going back in with that e.l.f. HD concealer, placing it right on the blemish. Then I'm going to pat it and just blend out around it because you don't want to touch the actual blemish too much or the makeup will start lifting off. Time to set the face. I'm going in with one of my favorite loose setting powders. This is the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder in the shade Naturally Neutral. And I'm just going to dip my beauty blender right into the powder and place it under the eyes. And as you can see, I don't leave the powder under my eyes to bake. I keep patting until it blends seamlessly in with my concealer and foundation. Make sure you get all those creases out before you set it, or else you're pretty much going to set the creases in. Taking it down the bridge of my nose as well as the center of my forehead. I like to get anywhere where my makeup may rub off throughout the day, so my chin, my smile lines, and then of course I'm going to put a little bit extra on my blemish to really make sure that that makeup stays put on it all day long and it doesn't move around. And taking a pretty good amount on my beauty blender, I'm going to go ahead and carve out my cheekbones, and you want to place this right underneath where your contour would sit. And taking any fluffy face brush, I'm just using the Bare Minerals Full Flawless Face Brush. I'm just going to dust off all of that powder that we used to set and bake. Now the last step I take in setting my face is going in with any pressed powder you have. I'm using the NYX blotting powder in the shade Light Medium. And with my finger, I'm just going to go up under my bottom lash line and get right in those creases that I have. That's my main problem area. Yes, with your finger, it works. I'm telling you, yes. Right up under that lash line. I don't know what it is, if it's just the heat from your finger, wiping it on. I did this getting ready really fast in my car and it just worked so well. And then we're gonna brush it off, right off like your problems. Finally, bronzing time. Taking my MAC Give Me Sun bronzer, I'm going to go in with a nice fluffy brush. This is the Bare Minerals Flawless Face Brush. I just like that it's so big and it really puts my bronzer on super quickly. And going on the sides of my forehead, you really don't want to go all the way around the perimeter. The last thing you want is a bronzer rainbow around your head. So really stick to those outer corners, hitting the cheekbones, really everywhere the sun hits. You want to look like you have that natural tan. Remember, you cute girl. And I'm going to take this also a little bit on the bridge of my nose just to give it a more natural tan look under my jawline. And then I take it down the center of my neck, really kind of like an upside down triangle to make it look a little thinner. Going in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in the shade Light Medium, I'm going to go in with that coolest contour shade, taking a MAC brush, and this is a 127 brush, I believe. I'll list it down below if I'm wrong. And I'm just going to hit my contour lines, which is right under the cheekbone, to add a little more shadow and depth. Also on the outer corners of the forehead, just on the very sides there. And that's going to make my forehead look a little thinner, a little smaller. Now for the nose contour, I'm going to go in with that same cool toned contour shade, and I'm using an angled brush. This is by Royal & Langnickel. It's their precision angled brush. I got this in an Ipsy bag and it really works perfectly for the nose contour. So blending it down the sides of my nose, I really like to take it up right underneath my eyebrow, because you want to carry that contour all the way up. You don't want to stop it right at the bridge of your nose, because then that kind of cuts it off. You really want to make your nose look longer, so you're going to carry that all the way up and follow through. Also, I like to contour right underneath my bottom lip. It just gives more of a pouty effect and makes your lips look like they puff out a little more. So really contouring right underneath is going to make them look a little more juicy. To highlight and set, using that same Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, I'm using a Real Technique setting brush, and I'm going to go down the bridge of my nose, right in the center of my forehead, and also hit my smile lines just to set them again and brighten them up using the yellow powder. The blush I'm using today is MAC Sheer Tone Blush in the shade Pinch Me, and you're just going to put this on the apples of your cheeks. I'm using a Bare Minerals blush brush. This is the tapered blush brush, and it's the perfect size, I think anyways. I've been using this brush for years. I don't even know when I got it. And you know, if you're going a little too heavy, just take your face brush and blend it out. First highlight, I'm using Colourpop Lunch Money. This is one of their Super Shock highlighters, and I just use my finger and kind of tap this on, and this is going to be the base for my powder highlighter. Ooh, that is so pretty. Yes. It looks so natural. I love that this highlight is not glittery in any way. It just looks like a really nice sheen to the skin and really natural looking. On days that I don't wear a lot of makeup, I'll just wear this on the tops of my cheekbones. For my powder highlight, I'm using MAC's Soft and Gentle, and this is one of their mineralized skin finishes. Let me just swatch this for you and show you how nice of a sheen it gives. It's also very natural. That's why I like it. It's not glittery. It just gives a nice sheen to your face. And I'm using a Luxie 522 tapered highlighter brush to really place this. It fits perfectly on the tops of my cheekbones. Yes, highlighter just brings the whole face together. Getting the other side, I like to go up. Ooh, that's me snatching your man with my highlighter right out the camera. I am so sorry, ladies. I got caught in the moment. Going on the tops of my eyebrows. And of course, the tip of my nose, and I just feel it works best with your finger to do this, unless you have a super tiny brush you like to use. And then I go on the bridge of my nose, not really connecting those 2 points, so it's kind of like an exclamation point, hitting the Cupid's bow. That's going to make your upper lip look a little more pouty. Time for brows, and this is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in dark brunette. I'm going to go right under my brow, and I'm going to shape out the bottom of my brow first. And I really like this pencil because I feel like it's more cool toned. A lot of problems that I run into with brow pencils is that they're very warm, so they don't look as natural. So once I found this, I've been sticking to this pencil for a while. This is probably like the 5th pencil that I've bought. But once I do the bottom of the brow, I'm going to go ahead and shape the top, and then I fill it in. And lastly, I go on the front of the brow, and you want to be very light-handed when you're working with the front. The more light-handed you are, the more natural it's going to look. And you want to stick to using natural brush strokes in the direction that your hair is going. Taking my Sonia Kashuk pot concealer, this is the shade Sand. I'm just going to take a flat top concealer brush. I believe this is a Luxie 221 flat definer brush. And I'm going to go ahead and clean up the bottom of the brow. And this is just going to make our brows look so much sharper and just clean. You want to place it first and then blend out. Once I do the work with my brush, then I just go in with my finger and I finished blending it out. I just pat it in there. Last up with the brows is brow gel, and this is going to really keep your hairs in place all day long. I like to brush mine up and out, and this gel works really well for me. It's the e.l.f. Brow Gel in the shade Clear. I'm too lazy to do my other brow. Oh my gosh, how'd that happen? For my next trick? Boom, bitch. So this is the eye look that we're going for today. First, I'm going to start with taking my MAC paint pot. This is the color Soft Ochre, and I'm going to mix in some Tarte Maracuja oil. This is just to make it a little more creamy. Mine's getting a little dried out, so this helps for it just to not clump or pool on my lid while I'm trying to blend it out. It makes it a lot easier to do. And then just to set it, I'm going to take whatever powder is left on my setting brush and I just sweep that across my eye. And I'm going in with the Patrick Starr. I believe this was his first collection. This is the Quad Glam AF. Taking the shade Saddle, and this is one of MAC's staple colors. I'm so glad he put it in this palette. It's like the perfect transition shade for me. As you can see, it goes on a little patchy, but it blends out seamlessly, so I'm not worried about that at all. Remember, ladies, just blend till you die. Ladies and guys, you know. So as you can see, it blends out perfectly fine. And then you can just build up the color as much as you want. So I do want to build this color up a little bit in my crease because it is my transition shade. I'm taking my Morphe blending brush. This is the M433 brush, and it's just a little more dense than the fluffy one I was using, and that's just to pinpoint the color a little bit more. I'm staying a little closer to my crease and the outer corner with that to make it a little darker. Now going in with the darkest shade in the palette, this is the shade Embark, and I'm just using a Bare Minerals shadow brush. I believe this is called their Contour shadow brush. It's just like a flat lid brush, I guess I would call it, but I'm taking that dark shade and I'm gonna concentrate in the outer corner of my eye close to my lash line. And I'm going to drag the color up without putting more product on my brush. Going back in with the Morphe brush, I'm just going to diffuse that color out a little bit, so just so that it blends more seamlessly in with Saddle. Then once I've diffused that color out, I'm just going to go back in with the Bare Minerals brush, put a little more product on it, and just do the same exact steps over again because I want to darken it up. So I just pat the color on, diffuse the color out with the Morphe brush. Same thing I did the first time. Okay, so once you're happy with the darkness that you have on the outer corner, you know, that's just personal preference, I'm just going to go in with my flat top concealer brush again, just with the same concealer I've been using. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I'm going to start carving out that cut crease. Now this doesn't have to be super perfect. As you can see on the other eye, it starts to blend in with my other shades. I didn't want it to be super sharp. I wanted it to stay a little bit softer. So this part does not have to be perfect. You don't have to make sure it's a super crispy line because we're going to be blending it out a little bit anyways. This is just really to get the pigment of the shimmery shadow, and it really helps it pop a lot more when you have that base underneath it for it to stick to. So now we get to play with the shimmery color in the palette, and this is like a pink champagne-y color called Oh My God, and I love this name. It's so fun to say. But you're just going to take a flat top eyeshadow brush, any flat brush that you have, and you just want to pat the color on. You don't want to wipe. You get a lot more pigment if you just dip into your shadow and pack it on with a patting motion as many times as you need to build the color up. And then I'm just going to blend the outside in and all around with that same Morphe M433 brush that I've been using, just to kind of blend everything in together. And going back in with Oh My God, I'm just going to place that on my brow bone to highlight it. Then do any finishing touches you need to. You know, you can never blend enough. For liner today, I'm using the NYX Gel Liner and Smudger in the color Jet Black with an e.l.f. small angled brush. I'm first just going to draw the line of my wing, and that's going to be my main guide. Then I just draw an outline down to my lash line and fill it in. After I've done the outside, then I move into the inside and I do that line and just connect them. And then, just play with it until it's the right size and thickness that you want it. The tricky part is making the other side match, but hey, our eyes are sisters, not twins. Remember that and you'll be a lot less frustrated. To clean it up, I'm going to go back in with that same exact flat top brush I've been using the whole time. And I'm just going to take some concealer up under the wing to make it a little more sharp. So don't be scared if you kind of mess it up or your wing is too thick when you're first drawing it on, because concealer is like a magic eraser. You can just go in and clean it up at the end. For the bottom lash line, I'm just using an e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush, and I'm just using the color Saddle from that same palette that we've been using, and I'm going to brush that all the way across my bottom lash line. From there, I'm just going to dab a little bit into Embark, which is that dark brown matte shade, just the tiniest bit of shadow on my brush just to darken it up a tiny bit. Then using that Morphe brush, I'm just feathering it out so that it blends a little better. And repeat those steps if you want it to be a little darker. Then I'm taking that Bare Minerals brush and I'm just going to darken it up anywhere that I want it just a little more dark. I noticed it was a little lighter than the other side, so I just wanted to darken that up. Starting on the outer corner, I just drag that in so that you get a nice blend. Not adding any more product on my brush, I'm literally just dragging the color where I want it to be. And then, of course, step 2 is always to blend your work. Using my favorite mascara, and this is the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara in the shade Carbon Black. I just want to first coat my little baby lashes before I put my falsies on. And you really want to start from the root and wiggle them up to coat all your lashes evenly. Just one layer because we're wearing lashes anyway. So I like to use the Duo Brush On Lash Glue. I feel like it's a lot less messy. It just dries clear faster to me and also quicker, I feel like. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. I'm just using the Ardell Wispies, and sometimes I stack these so that I'm wearing 2 pairs on each eye. It just gives them a thicker, fuller look. But for today, since we are doing a little more of a softer glam, I'm just wearing 1 pair on each eye. And you really want to camouflage that lash line because you don't want it to be noticeable. So I'm going to blend it in by using a black liquid liner. You can use any one you like. This is the NYX Vinyl Matte Liquid Liner. To line my bottom lash line, I'm going to use this NYX Wonder Pencil in medium, and since it is a lighter shade, it's like a lighter flesh tone shade, it's just going to make your eyes look a little more open and just really make them pop. Last step for the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and put this mascara on. I like to use a brown mascara for my bottom lashes. They're a little longer, so sometimes I feel like when they're jet black, they kind of throw off my eye look. So yeah, I'm just going to use this Tarte Lifted mascara that I got in an Ipsy bag. And we are done with the eyes. I think that looks great. Moving on to lips. This is one of my favorite parts to do. So I'm just going to start with this Kylie Cosmetics True Brown K liner. You can use any brown liner. This is just the one that I had on hand. And I do like her liners. They are very soft and easy to apply. I overline the very center where my cupid's bow is. I know everybody has different preferences when it comes to lips. You just kind of have to experiment on your own lips and figure out what looks best on your face. And they do the same thing on the bottom. I overline the very center on the bottom, shade in the outer corners, and then I draw a line in the middle just to give a little bit of contour. Then I'm going to add my lighter shade. This is Dose of Colors Let's Cuddle Liquid Lip. And I'm just going to place that everywhere on the center of my lip and pat it in with my finger. And the reason why I pat it in with my finger is to, first of all, thin it out a little bit because I don't like a thick liquid lip on my lips. I feel like it's very drying and uncomfortable. So this is going to thin out the formula, and at the same time, it's going to blend it in with that lip liner that you laid down. I want them to be a little lighter, so I'm just going to dab a little bit more of that Let's Cuddle shade onto the center of my lip and do the same thing. I'm just going to pat it in with my finger just to lighten it up a bit in the center. Then I'm going to just clean it up a little bit with some concealer and that flat top brush I've been using. I find that when I clean up the bottom edges and bring it in just a tiny bit, it makes the center of my lip look a little more pouty, and I just like the way it makes mine look. Now to finish off the lips with some gloss, this is another one of Patrick Starr and Mac's collaborations. I believe this is the second one, but this lip gloss is called Fashion Punch, and I'm just going to put that on, and again, I'm going to pat it on with my finger just to thin it out, and I like the glossy look that it gives, but I don't like the thick feeling of gloss on my lips. So again, by patting everything out with your finger, it's just going to make it a more comfortable, wearable lip. Finally, setting spray to finish off our entire look. This is the MAC Prep and Prime setting spray, and it's just going to really melt all the creams and powders on our face together, and I think it turned out great. Alright, so this is the finished look. It's just a very natural glam. You can really wear this to any occasion. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to join me again sometime, like, subscribe, and yeah, join my family. Be my new friend. Put your feedback down below. I want to interact with you. And I hope you take this journey with me because it's only going to go up from here, and I'm really excited. So I'll see you guys next time. See you later. Peace. 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 I think that is a wrap. First video in the books. Deuces. Oh no. Bye. Let me sit up because this slouch is hurting. Ow now, brown cow.